This is not rumor. This is not politics. This episode is the heart of the grid. With Citrus crowned down, the Gridlord King is running the show. A lot of people doubted that and said, no, yes, it's Gridlord King. So that's what this episode is today, is the Gridlord King. And I have updated a lot of the glossary, so make sure you check that. My God, this is looking crazier by the second. Just ignore everything you're seeing. Okay, so with Citrus crowned down, the showman's mask has fallen. The Gridlord King now calls the shots. His eye stones feed him sight. His throne weaver whispers monarchy. His ash quill inks cruelty into law. And the humiliated heir, aka Couch Guy, and the Mirror Prince move at his command, while the barons of the grid provide the outer lattice. What once looked like chaos is revealed as orchestration. The spider is at the center, and for now, the web is his. At its center sits the Gridlord King. Around him is his chosen circle, the Mirror Prince, the humiliated heir, aka Couchboy, the scribe of cruelty, the throne weaver, and behind them is the blueprint fathers. Their ancient pyramid is humming with new wires. The council is not elected, it is not seen, but it shapes the world that you walk in, and the laws that you obey, and the screens that you gaze into, the thoughts that you think you thought yourself. The Gridlord King uses the blueprint's father's structures. He didn't write the pyramid, he electrified it. I call him Gridlord King, not because he rules nations openly, but because he spins the web that they all move through. His empire is not a castle. It's a lattice of finance, code, and eyes that see everything. And yet he does not stand alone. Around him sits a council. Each are a thread in his design, and I will break down that council in future episodes. So the Gridlord King became, his whole startup was, well, part of it was Pay Buddy Mafia, if you know what I'm talking about. He was a financier. From there, he built his fortune into something more than money, influence, leverage, and control. He invested not just in companies, but in instruments of power, media, surveillance, and politics. And he found his own crown jewel, the eye stones. Black mirrors sold to government, military, and empires as oracles of foresight. In truth, they are his seeing stones. The king uses blueprint fathers' structures. So he didn't write it, he just electrified what they did. Now, who's the council? Let's just look quickly at some of the close council, and then there's also other council members that will all be in the glossary as well, and I'll talk about them in another episode. The Mirror Prince, I did not know this until I started researching this. I did not know this. The Mirror Prince, the king's instrument, born as a boy with a website, crowned by the king's money. The Gridlord King was one of the first big investors in the Mirror Prince's website. The Book of Faces. I did not know that. He's been spinning webs and webs and webs for a long time. His empire became the largest mirror in history. We're talking about the Book of Faces. Billions gazed in and gave away their faces, their desires, and their secrets. The Mirror Prince built the cage of attention. The humiliated heir, aka Couch Guy, the king's protege, he wrote of poverty and shame, confessing even to the grotesque act with his couch. What should have been disqualifying became his binding mark. The king chose him, funded him, and raised him as a senator. The puppet prince crowned in humiliation, dependent forever on the king's hand. Ash Quill is the scribe. His weapon is not code but law. He takes the king's vision and gives it a tongue. He also works with Blueprint Fathers. He works with both. Gridlord King and Blueprint Fathers. So he gives speeches of fear, policies of cruelty, inked into permanence. His quill cuts as sharply as the grid itself. So probably when we see Citrus saying something absolutely horrible, you can bet that that was Ash Quill at the helm. You know, that was his creation. And Now we also have the throne weaver, and we haven't talked about him yet, but we're going to get into him this week. The philosopher of the new monarchy. He whispers that democracy is chaos and that what the world needs is a sovereign ruler enthroned by technocrats. This is where all these guys get these ideas. His words are the loom on which the king imagines his future, a throne not voted but wired. Let's go back and look at the blueprint fathers. And beneath them all, the blueprint fathers remain. Old dynasties, colonial wealth, legal scaffolds. Their pyramid is still standing, even if the surface crumbles. The Gridlord King does not dismantle them. He feeds off of them. He electrifies their structure, running wires through their bones, turning their ancient order into a digital empire. Where they ruled with laws and banks, he rules with codes and stones that see. So let's talk about this Antichrist lecture series, or whatever it is. And now the King preaches prophecy, the 4-part lecture series on the Antichrist. Was that a warning, a distraction, or a confession? He names the beast even as he builds the cage. He speaks of darkness even as he funds it. And the question lingers, is he exposing the Antichrist or embodying him? So let's go back to the web as throne. This is the council of the grid. The king is at the center with his mirror prince, his humiliated heir, couch guy, his scribe of cruelty, Ash Quill, and his throne weaver. Behind them, the ancient blueprint fathers. Before them, the black mirrors of the eye stones. Look up the eye stones. They believe they have found the formula for control eternal. Money plus data plus ideology plus humiliation, which is connected to the eclipse papers, plus philosophy. The throne wired to the bones of the old world. So it's really running code and electricity through the blueprint father's old pyramid. So now that you've seen them, the council of the grid, the hidden heart of the empire, the king with his stones that see, the prince with his mirror of billions, the heir bound in shame, the scribe who inks cruelty, the weaver of thrones, and the fathers whose pyramid hums beneath it all. The thrones built of wires can short, mirrors can crack, and quills can be snapped, looms can unravel. The flash is coming. The Gridlord King believes his web is eternal, but when the flash comes, even spiders burn. I feel bad for spiders, but this is just the archetype or whatever, okay? And the council of the grid will face the one thing no empire can escape, the truth. I'll see you in the next episode.